Oh, I was just, reading through this comic book.
Were you reading a good story?
No.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the Edge of Civility.
Alright, kids, seeing as how we fucked up so terribly on the last recording.
Which you don't know because you haven't heard it, so why would we say it?
And you're not likely to, unless we absolutely run out of so much material that even we can't get a fucking and cast out. So, that makes this one 82. One day I might re-release that one all cut up and edited and call it 81.9. Something. I don't know. I don't give a shit. I might call it 107.3. I don't care. It's not getting broadcast anytime soon. So this is 82, and it's been an eventful media week, so to speak.
Oh, how so?
Well, San Diego Comic-Con finished, and everyone has lost all of their fucking minds on gender and race issues.
Ah, yeah, the infamous
Yes.
Spider-Man.
So, the Ultimate Spider-Man, which is not the regular Spider-Man, so anyone outside of comics has no fucking idea the guy exists.
I think he was in a game.
Yeah, but gamers, as often as they do cross over, probably don't cross over enough to care that it's a different
Sure.
Spider-Man. So, it's different Spider-Man. He dies so that Aunt May can live again.
That seems like a really poor plan.
His guilt-ridden bullshit is just, save the old lady. Forget the kid that, could grow up to be a surgeon or something. It's too much. It's too much. So he's being replaced by Miles Morales. Which, if he turns out to be a well-written character, fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But apparently, there are several news groups and forums whose comment sections have become so filled with bile that they're actually deleting or closing off all threads with this shit.
That's sad.
It disappoints me greatly that aren't we supposed to be somewhat tight? Aren't we supposed to be somewhat reasonable human beings who are hoping to be included?
You've always had this.
I've had an
fanciful
exclusionary
idea.
ego, and I've always wanted to feel apart as much as I've wanted to be in a group. But you know what?
No, you're not. Let me finish. You've always had this fanciful idea that geeks, because they've been excluded and because there was, some social, which isn't even necessarily true. There are plenty of well-accepted, comfortable geeks out there. Well, not many, but they must exist. I mean, but the fact of the matter is that you've always had this idea that not necessarily geeks are better. Well, no, really, that is kind of what you thought. It's like, yeah, no, we don't do that, and we so do. We have just as many assholes and douchebags as any other group.
Yeah, but I didn't really want to think that they were just out-and-out fucking KKK members.
They're not. Some of them are. And some of them just don't like change. Like, half of them probably aren't even racist per se. It's just the idea of Spider-Man being black.
No.
Like, seriously, the president probably doesn't bother them in the slightest. But fuck with their Spider-Man, they crawl from their little trolling cave of filth, porn, and dirt to crawl into the sun to scream out at a world that does not care. My spider is not the same!
And that drives me up the fucking wall.
Well, you should. First off, because these half-moloid people are douchebags.
They are!
And second off, because they're half-moloid people, they need to go back into the dark from whence they were spawned.
I'll never understand these guys, man. I mean, they obviously don't read X-Men.
Well, you know what? The fact it's not even about that. Like, it's just like you have your own version of this, as silly as that sounds, to a much lower degree.
Okay.
It's called the Blue Beetle. And you look at me, and like, obviously you haven't gotten on any chat boards and said anything vile or distasteful, because that's not you. But at the end of the day, and it's really not because it's Jamie Hernandez, is that his name?
Yeah.
It's because it's not Ted Core.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you don't like the current Blue Beetle because he's not your Blue Beetle.
Normal.
It's only that these people have gotten filthy and horrifyingly degrading about the fact that it's a minority. But the real issue for some of them, and some of them are probably racist douchebags, and some of them haven't really thought out what they're saying. And then, again, we created this culture on the internet where you can say whatever you want without any fear of getting your ass whipped. Which used to be the great equalizer.
It used to be.
I've said some dumb shit, and I've been confronted with said dumb shit, and it doesn't always play out my way. So now, I don't always say dumb shit. You know, there was a learning curve that's been taken away here, because you can type dumb shit, and no one will beat the fuck out of you like you so obviously deserve.
And that is a terrible thing.
But really, I think the core of the issue is the same. Is the same problem you have with Blue Beetle. Is it's not your Blue Beetle. And Ultimate Spider-Man, while some crappy Ultimate was also a great book, and has been around for over 100 issues, which in the current economic climate is no
says
small,
a lot.
Yeah. So, you know, there are a lot of people like Ultimate Spider-Man was their Spider-Man to a degree.
I can see it, but niggers got no place in comics.
No, there's absolutely no, and I certainly am not in any way endorsing or excusing that kind of language, because that's filthy and horribly degrading and awful. And again, quite likely to get the shit beaten out of. Like, here's a little rule of thumb that I like to live by. If saying it in public would get you to be bloodily raped by a chunk of cement, don't fucking type it!
I think we've played out that one. It's terrible. It's
a horrifying, and it's stupid.
I sat there for a good. I read the article from Jill Pantozzi that talked about that, writer of "Hey, That's My Cape" in Newsarama.
Okay.
And her own blog, The Nerdy Bird. I read that and I'm like, people are really doing that? And I followed some articles, and then I was dumb enough to read some actual comments, and I'm just like, I had to stop. I was like, I was shaking. I was like, people are still doing this shit over a comic book character? Really?
It's a horrifying, and it's awful. But here's an interesting question. And again, nothing I'm saying defends in any way anything filthy, horrifying, or degrading that's been put out there.
Yeah.
But was Marvel going? And obviously they weren't expecting this viral reaction, but you really think they weren't counting on some controversy and complaints to build up interest in this book?
No, I'm certain, absolutely certain that they misjudged the scale of the reaction.
No, and I think that is pretty obvious. Like, if you're filthy enough to shut down chat boards, then ew. The world where Pedo Bear exists, Pedo Bear, whatever the fuck it is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Some little furry bear that apparently sleeps with children, and it's all over chat boards.
Okay, you can stop talking about that right the fuck now.
That's my point. But this can get you out there without getting anything shut down.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Furries, man. Furries
suck. And then there was the gender problem. Wait, we talked about this last episode.
The gender problem?
Yeah, a woman who was almost certainly very earnest and honest and caring about comic books walked up to the Dan DiDio panel and asked him what the deal was with why there were so few women creators and characters in the upcoming new universe.
Yeah, we have not talked about this.
Oh, okay. And he essentially was nonplussed and didn't really have a reaction. And stumbling through it, he came out as it sounding like it's no big deal. So Jim Lee heard about this, and he's like, "Whoa! whoa, put the fucking brakes on, get the PR guy in here. We need projects. So now they're announcing a second wave after they've determined how many of these 52 fail. That will be based near, around, about, by women.
Well, I mean, there were several books about women in that list.
Kind of.
But, I mean, Catwoman has her own... Well, we're going to go over them in a second. But I saw Gail Simone on the creator list. That's the only...
That's 1 out of 100. Now, the thing with the statistics she was whipping out, though, they're problematic at best. Because she took only the artists and creators, the artists and writers when talking about the creator portion of it. The writers and artists, that's all she was talking. It was like 1 out of 100. Well, that's absolutely true. It's horrible odds. That's clearly not proper. There's plenty. Amanda Connor's out there. Marjorie Liu is out there. There's tons of women out there. Whether they want to do superheroes is another thing. That's hard to tell. We don't know how many people were presented with projects and said, nah, I don't think that's going to be my bag.
Or who are working elsewhere. Like, the thing is, at the end of the day, do you want more books by women or do you want more good books? And that's not to say that there aren't women who can't write good books, but the number one focus should be people who have the good ideas. You know, when you get into this, we have to publish this because it's by a woman, or we have to, then you're playing with fire, and that suddenly...
It does smack of quota.
The gender is more important than the actual story. Like, if two people are pitching a Wonder Woman book...
Yeah.
And it's Gail Simone versus Joe Schmo, what it really ought to come down to is who has the better idea.
Well, it ought to, sure.
Well, yes, obviously, and you know, it is sadly a very male-oriented, and as we've seen, it's a very inclusionary, douchebaggy environment. We just discovered quite how much.
It's not going to bother me as long as the stories are fine. I will accept Gail Simone. I'll accept Marjorie Liu.
Obviously, Amanda Connor's in your top 10 artists, so it's not like you'd be heartbroken if she were working on a book.
No, I would buy it and give it its go just the same as anything else. But the other thing is, I don't owe any of these creators a goddamn thing.
Male or female.
Just like none of them are my bitch, I am not their slavish follower here. I don't have to support them if I don't like what they're creating. So, whatever the fuck. How did that get in there? Is that yours?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, last year's New York Comic Con tag. Pretty cool. You ready for this year? Just a reminder, kids, we're going to be tabling at the August 27 in Stamford, Connecticut Comic Con with 2 N's. The goofiest pun about conventions and comics in Connecticut you could come up with. Just so you know, live podcasting, video podcasting, books and deals and stuff supplied by Kurt of Cabo and the Collector's Cave. Come by, hang out, see what we have to give you.
I'll be napping.
Yeah. I watched a new anime this week.
Woohoo!
Well, it's not
Don't
new.
care.
Huh?
I don't care.
You don't care.
No, I don't care. I've
What the
never
fuck?
cared about anime.
I care.
Okay, just saying.
Motherfucker.
Just making a point.
Could you suck
Observation.
more?
Filling in time. Not caring over here. Careless. Carefree even. Careful.
Care Bear?
No.
I knew there was a care you couldn't hit.
Stupid furs. Alright, so you watch an anime.
Oh no, it doesn't matter because you don't care.
Well, you've brought it up. It's not like we could get letters. Why didn't you continue? So
We'll never get letters asking why we
I
didn't
miss
continue
letters.
a train of thought.
I never received letters.
Who did you write to get letters back?
Oh, you have to write them first?
Yeah, you got to start off somewhere.
Fuck.
So, Claymore. Very convoluted, but just exactly enough to be cool. Not enough to say, oh god, my head hurts keeping track of this shit.
Is it about giant Scottish swords?
It is about giant swords.
Or tiny mines?
They're not... No, most of them are quite brilliant, really.
No, mind.
Tactically.
Yes. I'm trying to follow the
Giant
Claymore.
yes, landmines, like, yes. No, that's not it. Anyway, in this fantasy world, there are creatures called Yoma, and it's never clearly defined whether they're demons or some other supernatural thing or just incredibly powerful creatures. They can only be killed by someone who is actually half Yoma. And you become half Yoma not by breeding, but by absorbing into yourself the flesh of a Yoma.
Ew.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But that allows them to, kill other Yomas and become very, very powerful and wield these tremendous swords, even though they're usually very slight girls.
Well, that's so often the case.
Now, they tried to make male claymores, but they all became awakened beings and very powerful, evil things. What they awoke to is beyond me because they never explained it.
I can't control that.
Now, the female claymores could focus this Yoma energy called the Yoki aura, and depending on just how close they got to releasing it all, they would eventually become a Yoma themselves and awaken. So they had to be very, very careful. Lots of bloody action. Limbs getting chopped off left and right.
Cool.
An irritating sidekick I could have dealt without.
There you go.
But, and
Lisa
this
got
is
a sword.
not quite that irritating. Lisa, never mind. I can't do it. Not gonna do it. Where was I? Sidekicks.
Lynn's getting irritating sidekick.
The best thing about this anime, and something that I have been avoiding anime because of for a very long time, this one is actually closed-ended. It has an actual end. I'm very happy about that. It's only 26 half-hour episodes. So, that's nice. There's lots of action, believable characters, good animation itself. So it's worthwhile. Sound good?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Good. You can stream it, so you don't have to...
Oh, well, that's always nice.
Yeah, that's how I did it. Let's get stuck into the books that we may or may not think about on the new 52.
All right.
Justice League?
DC ends every book, and 52 new ones or semi-new ones are born.
Which I still think is a silly idea. But we've got that argument out of the way.
Oh, yes, we have.
A solid hour of screaming and swearing. It's out of the system. Let's just talk about the books.
All right, so who's in Justice League? Give me a...
Justice League has Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Batman, Cyborg, and Flash.
Wow. One of these things is
not like the other. Or two of them in one case.
Cyborg.
Cyborg is very, very different. He has never been part of the Justice League before. It's a concern that he's the only black guy in there. It's a concern. I know people are going to be like, hey man, why don't you throw Jon Stewart in there instead? But, what are you going to do? There's also a staggering lack of females except for Wonder Woman. But I don't get it. They wanted to stay fresh and new, but they wanted to harken back. And it's a weird mishmash. But they got... all the uniforms have changed. And they tell us absolutely nothing about it except that a bonus pack comes with a digital download.
Now, who is the writer and artist on this one?
Jeff Johns and Jim Lee for as long as he lasts.
So you'll be picking this up.
Sure.
Okay. So 1.
To start, yeah, And then Justice League International. Which we have our first double dip of Batman. He's running around. We got another Green Lantern in Guy Gardner. We got Ice. fucking Vixen, fire. Chinese guy, August General in Iron.
Augie.
I know that guy is gonna call him fucking Augie. You know it.
I would.
Rocket Red. And Booster Gold. So, Dan Jurgens and Aaron Lopresti. Although I can't say I've always been impressed by Dan Jurgens. He has always been solid. If not, I mean, he's never been irritating. You know?
Right.
The worst you can say about Dan Jurgens is he's competent.
You're not buying that book. You
Not
might
for
flip
long.
through it, but unless the first one blows you away, there's no way you're bringing that.
Nope. Even with Lopresti, and I love Lopresti. So
Sludge.
who?
Sludge.
No, I don't. Not Sludge. I don't. You can keep your Sludge. Adam Curry is back as Aquaman.
Aquaman has his own book. Speaking of for
Again.
as long as it lasts.
Written again by Jeff Johns.
Well, that's a little more intriguing.
And art by Ivan Hayes. Ivan Hayes. However you pronounce it in Brazilian.
That's actually a really good creative team.
It is, but
It's still Aquaman.
Underwater Adventure does not. I feel no connection to Arthur Curry at all.
Swim faster or the fish will get you.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much of it. The trench they're dealing with, a broken race of creatures that should not exist, an unspeakable need driving them. It sounds like Piranha. Doesn't it? It sounds like Piranha.
What's better than Piranha?
Plenty. If you remember, we talked about it while watching it. We talked about it while watching like 6 episodes back.
Much more than that now.
Well, 8 or 10 maybe. Whatever. Piranha is worthwhile for exactly one thing.
Moving. All right. So next book.
Wonder Woman. Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang.
So this is a must-buy.
That really is a top 5 must buy. Azzarello, as we all know, is the shit. If anybody can pull out one of these books and bring it up top, it's probably going to be him. Because Jeff Johns is spreading a little thin, and he's a bit I do things my way kind of guy.
In 4 books, there are 2 definite buys.
Mm-hmm.
One, quite possibly in Aquaman if the creative team lives up, and one pretty unlikely in Justice League International, but no out-and-out no's.
Not yet.
So that kind of impressive start thus far.
So far. We'll see. Flash. Francis Manapul and Brian Bucalato. Manapul...
First note.
No. Absolutely not.
You weren't enjoying the Flash run.
There was absolutely nothing that brought me to Barry Allen before. There's probably nothing that's going to keep me there now. If I can find a $5 trade, I might think about
There
it.
you go.
If I'm bored that week. You know, Captain Atom, J.T. Kroll, and Freddie Williams III. Now, I like Freddie Williams II. I like Freddie Williams. He's a decent artist. But J.T. Kroll didn't show me anything I wanted to see when he was doing Green Arrow.
I don't want to talk about it.
Exactly. See? So, 2 no's. Fury of Firestorm with written by Ethan Van Sciver and Gail Simone. And you'll note, please note, that although the cover is by Van Sciver, the art is not. So, he's known for being late. He needs a co-writer, and he's not doing the art. It's incredibly difficult to give any undefined, unsupported faith to this book.
Not to mention, and maybe this is just me talking,
Yeah?
it's fucking Firestorm!
Yeah, I've never... again, another one that I've never felt any kind of connection to at any level. Yeah, I mean, he's a teenager. You know, he had his own book when I was a teenager. It ended before I really got too deep into comics. So I never really cared. And now I'm not a teenager anymore, so I don't care about teenagers.
I just don't care about Firestorm. Alright, next book.
He always seemed kind of gimmicky to me. He's not allowed to manipulate organic matter. Just because there's a carbon molecule in there, he suddenly can't touch it. So wouldn't he be disallowed from manipulating a pencil? Really? It's just an excuse for the writer not to be able to kill people because heroes don't kill. So, that I've always found kind of lame. Another JT Kroll in Green Arrow.
Fuck.
The new Green Arrow, new suit, just like everybody else. Keeps enough elements, I think, to be acceptable.
Kind of looks like the bat symbol on his chest. Not loving that at all.
Oh, yeah. Now that I look at it, yeah. It's got a kind of winged appearance to it. Yeah. But art by Dan Jurgens and Norm Rapmund. I guess. But no, I'm not. It's so burned the last series of Green.
Maybe J.T. Kroll is an amazing writer if you take away magical forests and happy elves or whatever the fuck was going on.
And Galahad.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you remove these elements that some he probably got stuck with, to be fair, it's not god-awful and horrible. But am I diving in to find out, hey, maybe you don't suck as badly as I think you do? Here's my $4.
No. Maybe a trade. We'll come to a trade when we find it at a show for $5.
The $5 trade, yeah.
Savage Hawkman.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
No, I don't even care who
care. I've never cared about Hawkman.
Take your Hawk World, your Hawk people, your Hawk folk, Little Hawks.
Well, that's the thing. They are wiping that.
Mad Hawks.
They're forgetting that. They're giving him one unified origin now, which is fine in and of itself. The fact that you're giving him, you're taking his history and you're saying, look, here it fucking is. That's great, but it's still Hawkman, and I still don't care.
Now, here's an interesting question. With all this going on, why would you buy like a Brightest Day trade or any of the previous story? Like,
I don't know. There's supposed to be enough crossover. There's supposed to be enough storylines that happened before the end of Flashpoint where I guarantee continuity is still going to be a problem.
It can't not be. People forget.
There's going to be stories where they're going to say, no, forget about that one. Don't worry about it. And then there's going to be ones that are like, that was very successful, so we'll include that one in the history. And that's going to be irritating. Because that's what... No, never mind. Next book, we were going to get into another half hour of argumentative bullshit again. Mr. Terrific. Now, I don't know either of these guys. Eric Wallace and Roger Robinson. No idea.
Mr. Terrific was a big player in JSA, which I have never read.
Right.
I know he's a revamped version of Mr. Terrific.
Yes.
Who had, top 5 worst costume of all time.
Fair play.
So, might I flip through one? Maybe. Would I run out and buy it? No.
But he's the world's third smartest man.
Whoopity shit.
And
Who were the first two?
He heads up a successful high-tech corporation. Well, probably Lex, and I don't know. Superman?
Professor T.O. Morrow.
Probably not. DC Universe presents. Now, this has... I don't know, because you would assume that it would be an anthology. Right? And Paul Jenkins and Bernard Chang running around, it doesn't seem like a bad idea.
You enjoy those anthology books. You always have.
Yeah.
More so than I do. So, I mean...
They're spotlighting some of DC Universe's most exciting superheroes, which shouldn't exist yet because they shouldn't be exciting because we're starting from scratch. Kind of scratch. Almost scratch. Whatever.
Quibbling.
Quibble. Is that how it works?
There you go.
Deadman is apparently a recurring character, so as much as I've come to appreciate Boston Brand, I don't know if he can sustain his own book anymore. You know?
Rough.
When your biggest quote of the year is "have a cheeseburger."
Hey, you know, of all things superheroes say, that's one I'm most likely to say. So
Here's where we get iffy.
what do we got?
And I'm going to preface this again, like I do almost every time now, by saying that I give Grant Morrison a lot of shit.
Yes.
Mainly because I read things that he puts on the page and they make me go, huh? You know, I don't dig being talked to at such a level. And it sounds stupid. You know, I'm a bright guy, motherfucker. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, to say I don't get it to anything in a comic book shouldn't be possible.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's just assuming that there should always be writing occasionally that makes you say, huh? Some of the, like Peter Milligan, Alan Moore. You've read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
Sure.
and I know for a fact that the Black Dossier and the 1962 or 57 or whatever that one was made you go, huh? And not in a good way.
What? 1910.
1910.
Century.
Yes, thank you.
Which, by the way,
1967
1969.
Just came out.
Yes, it's waiting for you at the shop.
With my Indiana Jones.
Now, as much as I appreciate what he did with All-Star, there were even things in All-Star that I were like, you're not thinking when you're putting the words down on the paper. You're putting words that can sound as cool as possible combined together with no thought of anything behind it. You're just throwing dialogue out there so you can get to the next twack the fuck out sentence.
Well, you know, I really don't think that's... I mean, I know that you and Grant Morrison have your issues, and the only way it's going to stop that is, you know, cage fight.
The only thing that's going to stop that is clearer writing.
But the fact of the matter is, I do think he really thinks about... Like, you think about some of the books and the intricacies that he's put down there. Like, Animal Man.
He thinks about his plots. I'm not so certain he thinks about his dialogue.
Well, I don't know the dude, so it's hard for me to say, but... And I never read All-Star.
And that's why I say I'm not so sure.
Fair enough.
You never read All-Star?
No.
I'll arrange that. I swore I gave it to you, but probably not.
No, that was before we started doing this.
Yes, that's right. So he's got Action Comics now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's intriguing. Who's the artist?
Rags Morales.
Okay, that's a
Which is a very good start.
Okay.
I like Rags. It's okay. But that's corn-fed to a whole new level right there with the rolled-up jeans and the T-shirt and the dish towel for a fucking cape. They're obviously not gonna leave that because we saw a couple pages back that Soups is in a big suit with there's no more underwear. There's no more trunks in any of these suits. Did you notice that?
No, I really haven't looked at their crotches the way you have. Aha!
I don't know how to express just how much you suck.
It's difficult. Alright, so that's another possible. So we still only have two two definitive so far.
Yes. But no, I mean, it's Superman and it's Action Comics and it's Rags Morales. So
that's a pretty definitive.
And I was happy with All-Star.
So it's a buy, you're just not sure you'll stick with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're up to 3.
Because I've almost never bought Action consistently anyway.
Right.
So, and then there's Superman #1, which George Perez, breakdowns by George Perez. Now we all know he can knock out a page. So
you're not wrong.
That's very, very promising right there.
Who's writing?
Him.
George Perez?
Yeah.
Alright, so
written by George Perez, breakdowns by George Perez.
We're up to 4.
Yep. I'm happy with that. I mean, Superman, what's there to say about Superman? He's fucking Superman.
Goddamn super.
See? No trunks.
Oh.
Made you look at his crotch. Ah.
And I'm a little bit dumber.
I don't know what these panel things are, though. What is it with all these redesigned suits that everything has to be a panel somewhere? Did you see these? Did you look at these? There's lines and separations and segmentata like a fucking Roman armor.
Hey, you gotta try and blow people away, my friend.
I don't know how lines do it, though. Alright, and here's an out-of-hand number 1 that we're just going to skip by just by saying the credits. Superboy, Scott Lobdell. Onward. I've never cared about Connor Kent. He never made an impact on me. Whatever.
Pass on.
Supergirl, Michael Green and Mike Johnson. Don't know either of them.
You were reading Supergirl
I
pretty consistently
don't-
for a while.
Yeah, when it was Jamal Igle. Apparently she's an uppity teen because you don't want to piss her off.
Yeah, pass on that.
Yeah, the same powers and none of the affection for the people of Earth. So she's a bad girl.
She's Black Adam.
Didn't we give that shit up in the at the end of the 90s? You know,
Well, I know you have that full Lady Death collection.
that's so not true. Don't say things like that out loud. People will believe that shit.
I
It's
know.
the internet. Next thing you know, the one forum thread we'll have is about how huge my fucking Lady Death collection is. And I don't have one.
Oh, you're missing number 1?
Stop that.
Kids, a
Don't
new
make
contest.
implications. Cut it out. There's no contest about Lady Death and Tech Jedi's collection. We finally get to the important shit. Batman. Scott Snyder, who we all know is doing an amazing job on American Vampire and the American Vampire Mini.
Yep.
We're very happy with his work over there. And up front, he's been spotty on Detective. You know, he started off, every arc he starts off pretty strongly. And then it kind of...
There have been some cool ideas and some freakishly weird ideas.
Right. But that's Greg Capullo, of all people. But where the hell has he been lately?
Well, he was doing Spawn forever.
For a long time, but who paid attention to anything Spawn for a long time? That motherfucker's up over 200 issues now. It's amazing.
And you have number 1 somewhere.
Yeah, well, 1 through 50, actually. Thanks to you.
And I don't miss him at all.
That wouldn't sell on eBay for 3 years now. Nobody wanted those damn things. So, I don't have a choice. It's that simple. I mean, if I'm going to buy anything out of this new batch at all, it's going to be Bats.
So, Detective Comics number 1.
Detective Comics number 1, which is Tony Daniel.
Nice.
Tony Daniel, and Tony Daniel.
That's a lot of Tony Daniel.
Well, the only thing, the inker is Ryan Wynn, and that's it.
Wow, it's nice of him to share some credit that way.
Yeah, a little bit. Again, it's Bats. I don't have a choice. But you know what? We'll see what the first arc does. Because Tony Daniel ain't been blowing my fucking brains out in the current run of Bats. I'm sorry, but you know, I've purchased them. I'm not preaching about anything I haven't actually read. So, Batwing, Judge Winnick. No.
You love Judge Winnick.
No. There are points I like, but this comes out of the
Batwing. What is it?
Exactly. Comes out of the Batman Incorporated stuff.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
They've already got one guy with his own book. Look how pretty soon they'll all have their own books.
I don't
It'll
want.
be a Batverse.
I won't be buying them. I won't be buying them.
You'll love the Batverse.
No. Next fucking page. Next page. Next page.
Who's
David
Batman
Finch
at this point, by the way?
Huh? Let's see. In Detective, it doesn't say. And in Batman, it doesn't say. But at least one of them is Bruce, obviously. I've read in Batman: The Dark Knight, like David Finch is Bruce. They say it right here. It's Bruce.
Okay.
Batman and Robin is Bruce.
So it's very possible they will all be Bruce.
Right.
So Bruce is in like 7 books already.
Maybe.
No, that's literally Detective,
Bats, Dark Knight, Batman and Robin, Justice League, and Justice League International.
So 6 already.
Yeah.
And possibly he'll show up once or twice in Batwing.
Yeah, it could be. Peter Tomasi is writing Batman and Robin, and Patrick Gleason is doing the inside. So, solid all around.
Okay.
But he's moving from the Green Lantern stuff into the Batverse. So, both of them, actually. They came as a unit, really.
Coming to Batland, do.
And,
What you really, really want to do is get out of here. And
here's Batgirl. Barbara Gordon
Alright. Well,
is
that
healed.
kind of cool. Well, yeah, of course, because that never happened.
Well, actually it did. She's been healed.
By what?
Who knows? We have to read. But that's the Gail Simone book.
Okay, that's...
Which is fine, because she's got a handle on Barbara because of those 100-plus issues of Birds of Prey.
I assume you'll be picking
So
that
that
one up
should fit just fine. I will start with the first arc
and go from there.
and go from
You
there.
like Gail Simone? You love
Yeah.
the original Batgirl?
Yeah. And Babs is a good character even without the bat suit.
Yeah.
So there we go. Batwoman. J.H. Williams and Hayden Blackman. Looks pretty good.
Okay, so
You enjoyed the detective run with that. You
had
had spotty reception, but you did like
It
it.
started very strong, and then it got arty and annoying.
Which is like 40% of the remainder of your collection aside from Howard the Duck. So,
Like what?
no, I'm fucking with you.
I am quite annoying. Well, no, I own quite a bit that's annoying, but that's just to because it annoys you.
The arty part is not
No,
quite the same.
Kickers Incorporated is not arty. And yes, kids,
You only
I
have
do.
that so that you can eventually annoy me with it some way.
I did.
One irritating cold winter night, you're going to pull that out and make us read it panel by panel on a podcast. I just planted a seed I'm going to regret, aren't I? Oh, shit. Watch out, kids. January.
Now I know what we're doing for episode 100.
Oh, no. I liked it. I liked Batwoman. I liked J.H. Williams,
All right,
what
so
he
with
did.
Bat books, your
I'm
cash
batting
outlay
1,000.
is, like, tripled.
Yeah. Until we
Not
get
1,000,
to...
Batwing.
Actually, wait. All the Bat books are Bruce. Because Dick is going back to being Nightwing.
Nightwing.
I didn't buy Nightwing before.
Who's
Although-
on it now?
We're getting there. Written by Kyle Higgins. I don't know who the hell that is. Art and cover by Eddie Barrows. Now, I've seen Eddie Barrows here and there. I haven't gone very far with his work, but whatever. Here's the other Judd Winnick one I will get,
What's that?
because I'm a complete pervert.
Yes. Oh, Lord. What do you got?
Catwoman.
All right. Well, no, I think, I will say, I think Judd Winnick could do a very good Catwoman book.
Yeah, he probably will. I mean, I wasn't happy with what he did with Power Girl, but not everybody can pull a humor book off.
Well, you know what? I mean, I honestly believe if you go back and reread Power Girl outside of the space Sean Connery issues,
I had fun with it.
take the art out.
Zardoz was not everywhere.
Good old Zardoz.
You thought you were going to skim that by me, didn't you?
I made you watch the movie.
I know. But Gillum March, he's acceptable.
Alright.
The new Birds of Prey, however, Dwayne Swierczynski and Jesus Saiz,
Dwayne Swierczynski, whose name is impossible to say, is a phenomenal writer.
if you say so. But
Well, I've never read his comic work, but he's written several great mystery novels.
Really?
The Wheelman. Yeah, remember that cable mini you were supposed to give me? And
yeah. Ah, all right.
That's him.
Well, that's slightly different. I may save that one for a trade because eventually, I mean, there's 52 fucking books here.
Yes, and the back book's just up your cash outlay quite a bit, and you buy more Marvel than DC anyway, so...
Red Hood and the Outlaws can go suck a dick because it's Scott
LOBDELL.
Lobdell.
You got to.
What? It's Scott Lobdell!
Exactly! That book's going to be iconic.
Iconic in its depths of sucktitude.
Just the first one. You have to.
Iconic in its depths of sucktitude.
Yeah.
Title number 82.
There you go.
And I came up with it this time.
And in celebration, you'll be getting the first one.
I dare you to do better. Green Lantern, more Jeff Johns. But more Doug Mahnke as well.
Well, then that's a must.
So it's okay. I'll get Green Lantern. Even though, nothing that happened in this pile with the Hal getting kicked out for pissing off Ganthet one last time. Whatever. Green Lantern Corps. Peter Tomasi again. There's a lot of doubling up in here. They could probably get some different teams going.
I'm not loving that, quite honestly, with the amount of people out there and the recession going on. The author is writing like 9 books. Now, here's a question. Obviously you're going to get Green Lantern. You've been enjoying the book. It has kind of stifled. Like, you started, if memory serves, pretty much with the Sinestro Corps War.
That's right.
And then you went from that, it followed through Blackest Night, Brightest Day, Greenest Afternoon, and the Green Lantern Corps War.
Right. And then nothing.
Which is...
and then now this. So they don't say where they're picking up.
But
so
you've been enjoying most of that to varying degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you, as the consumer who buys this shit, 'cause I'm not, based on the way they've been doing Green Lantern, are you kind of required to buy every book because every 2 weeks they're jumping back to the every book having a storyline?
No, when the big things aren't happening, they're largely independent.
I don't know, because they haven't done anything that wasn't a big thing in so long.
No,
Think about it. There hasn't been, since Sinestro, like even the one book that was kind of separate was Guy Gardner's Space Team to the End of the Universe. It was still hugely related.
Yes.
So, do you see my point? Like, I'm certainly, other than you have to buy Red Hood and the Outsiders or whatever the fuck it was called, I'm not telling you what to spend your money on. But I do think the way they've been marketing the Green Lantern books almost requires the purchase of all of them, which is kind of frustrating if you don't like one of them.
A little bit. I just want to see some space cop shit.
I want to see Itty.
Itty?
Yeah, remember in the 70s he had that little alien half plant, half starfish plant sidekick that used to ride on his shoulder? Itty?
No. When the hell was that?
The 70s.
That was after the relevancy period.
That's when he was a trucker.
Oh boy. So, a blacked out Rainbow Corps. Except it's pretty obvious that we got Atrocitus in there, and Carol Ferris in there, and Kyle Rayner, and representatives from
Saint
each color.
Alphonse, and who's the orange dude's name that you love?
Larfleeze. Larfleeze, come on. You love Larfleeze too. Everybody loves Larfleeze.
That is going to be an atrocious
Larfleeze is like an ugly Daffy Duck. Mine, oh mine.
He is not as funny as Daffy Duck.
Well, no, but... And, a completely off to the wall, I don't know why they would bother. What the fuck kind of adventures can you have? Red Lanterns. And their response to the question I just posed is, battling against injustice in the most bloody ways imaginable.
Sweet.
So it's...
Space Punisher!
That's exactly where I was going. It's blood-puking Space Punisher. That's never a sentence in my... I would have lived 1,000 years and never thought I would have uttered that sentence.
I spent my whole life waiting for a...
Looking for sentences like that?
That is absolutely appalling. That is, yeah. But again, like, do you dare to not pick up that book? Because...
Of course you do.
Well, no, but you see my point. If you
you
like
know what?
Green Lantern,
We're
the
almost...
average fan...
We're almost done, so I'm gonna...
Keep pushing through.
We're gonna... There's a whole lot to get through, actually. Legion... Yeah, right, Legion. Anyway, I am changing my fucking geeky collecting ways. Because I'm tired of some of this horse shit. You know? What you were saying right there with the whole, do you dare not get it? I'm fucking daring.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, I got action figures to buy for things I gotta do. You know? I gotta put gas in the car. There's plenty of stuff I can do with my dough besides red fucking lanterns. Okay? While Atrocitus fit a role, I'm not entirely certain he could carry a fucking book.
I can't imagine anything I want to read less.
See?
An entire book.
See,
of
I'll
Bob.
take the storytelling hit if it crosses over that
We're
much.
supposed to be like we vomit blood out of our anger for the horrors that.
How
men
is that
do.
hero? How does that? I mean, anti-hero only goes so far, and then it's just a book about assholes.
And this is plus if there's a space cat that doesn't like people.
Now, Dexter.
Name Dexter.
Dexter.
You know what? Fuck the pronunciation.
I am amused by Dexter. I am, but amusement is not. There's not $3.99 worth of amusement. He would have to be on every page going, "I'm in your rings."
Yeah. Fuck off, you little Garfield-esque nightmare.
It would have to be red lolcats, okay? And it won't, so I'm not doing it. Here's one I'm sure you're intrigued by, because it's fucking bizarre.
What do we got?
Justice League Dark? They couldn't think of any other name for that? That's like a
that?
14-year-old's fucking idea of a comic book title.
You've got
There's
Deadman.
Deadman, Zatanna, Madame Xanadu, John Constantine, Tyne, whatever the fuck it is, Enchantress. Did I say Deadman?
Yeah.
Shade the Changing Man
Oh, sweet.
by Peter Milligan.
Yeah, you knew.
I'm
I'd
telling you.
chop off my own foot and feed it to the poor.
If I had not read Egypt, I might have a different perception of Peter Milligan's writing. But no, I jumped right in, never having known Peter Milligan before, straight into the most twacked out, period piece acid trip you could possibly figure the fuck out and put on paper.
Oh my
So no.
God.
Now, I'm thinking we might have to deal with some Swamp Thing for a while.
I
Because-
totally enjoyed Swamp Thing
Because
before.
while Scott Snyder's detective was spotty, again, his American Vampire was awesome. Still is awesome. It hasn't stopped being awesome. Can't say was awesome. So he and Yannick Paquette are doing Swamp Thing. So I may be picking up a Swamp Thing book right off the bat. So, Animal Man by Jeff Lemire. I couldn't give a shit. Sweet Tooth did not. It confused me and it irritated me, and I fear different things. So no Jeff Lemire. Frankenstein, Agent of Shade.
You just turned the page. I don't even want to talk about it.
Another Jeff Lemire. See, this doubling up thing is disconcerting. They got 52 people they could have employed. They could have employed a dozen
104.
more people. They could have employed a dozen more people just by spreading out these books.
No, it's true.
I Vampire. I don't know who the hell Joshua Hale Fialkov.
You honestly know who I Vampire is?
I used to know.
I Vampire was a mid-70s retro, like the tortured it was kind of like the DC equivalent of Dark Shadows with the tortured vampire hero.
And here's the other female creator here is Andrea Sorrentino.
Doing the art?
Yep.
Or co-writing?
The cover is Jenny Frisson. I don't know what that means. Who can punch it up there pretty nicely.
You know what?
I'm
Take
liking
your True Blood-esque.
I like pointy ears.
Fine. You enjoy iVampire. Let me know how it is.
Yeah, well, whatever. Resurrection Man?
I've read Resurrection Man. Do you understand the concept?
Yeah, he never dies. He keeps coming back. Whatever.
Every time he dies, he gets a new power.
Right. Yeah.
I literally read 2 issues of Resurrection Man because there was a Hitman crossover where the Hitman kept shooting him because he kept getting lame powers.
That's fucking brilliant, really.
I can create the world's most beautiful butterflies.
Boom!
What?
It's brilliant. That's funny. That's funny. And Garth Ennis did it, so you know it was insanity. So Garth Ennis did that, and that is a very Ennis kind of thing.
No, it wasn't. It was
Hitman?
but this was the Resurrection Man.
Oh,
crossover, so it was just using the character.
I'm corrected. But that's smart, regardless.
Well, you know what? But I'm just saying, like, Resurrection Man did not blow me away back in the original.
I didn't understand Resurrection Man. It's so lame. The ghoulies, so bad. Little semi-cute monsters of the 80s. What
We can
what
totally
can you do?
watch that after this.
No. You don't have a VCR anymore. Don't say that. Don't remind me. There is no VCR. Don't you remember? Demon Knights.
What the hell is a Demon Knight?
A period piece by Paul Cornell and Diogenes Nevis.
I love the name Diogenes, so that gets a point there.
The demon Etrigan. Fighting for justice in medieval times.
Moving on.
I don't know if they're doing it for justice. But you like Etrigan.
To a degree, but you know what? I mean, I read his own book back in the 90s, both when Garth Ennis was doing it, which was ridiculous but over the top and kind of hysterical.
Yeah.
And the earlier version with no one whose name I'm going to remember, which is sad because it was like a huge run when he used to fight fucking Lobo all the time. And they turned the guy into the Pillow.
I don't remember the Pillow.
Yeah. His friend Harry, one of the backing characters from the mid-70s, turned into a flesh pillow.
Ew.
Hair, and it would talk.
Okay, I'm done. Stop speaking. Stop.
Female
Are you
pillow.
done? Stop. Stormwatch, #1, where we see old Jimmy Boy start feeling his little publisher oats there.
Well, you know what? They own them. They might as well play in the fields.
But he's not making. He's having Paul Cornell and Miguel Sepulveda do it. And I suppose, you know, if Jim's too busy to be in charge, but he wants his book out anyway, and you know, they may as well have somebody else do it.
How is Stormwatch going to fit into the DC Comics universe proper?
Well, that's the thing.
That's a little bit intriguing.
With the way that this is going, was this whole pseudo starting from scratch shit, they can say it was always there. And any kind of backstory they want to cook up, they can insert into any continuity they want any way possible.
You know,
So it all works out.
That's a wise decision. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, they're doing it with voodoo as well.
Oh, fuck a duck. Voodoo is stupider as a character than as a religion.
Right.
That's a terrible sentence.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I cannot stand really Wildcats, but particularly...
I never understand voodoo's point. That's the thing. But Ron Mars might be able to do something with her.
Hey, Ron Mars is a very creative guy, but, you know... I assume then the next one is another Wildcat.
It is. It's Grifter.
What a shock. The continuing adventures of Cold Cash.
It's the dumbest name ever.
It's
isn't
like this bad 80s movie.
it is.
Cold Cash in.
Grifter. Nathan Edmondson and Cafu.
That's...
What you know? You don't get to have just one name. I don't care how well Prince pulled it off,
Or Cher.
or Madonna. They're a whole lot bigger than any comic book creator is ever going to be.
Now, yeah, but originally when they started, they weren't, and they still had the one name. You gotta start from somewhere.
Cafu. Snafu is what it is. No Grifter for me. No Deathstroke for me.
No?
No.
Why not?
Well, first off, because this is going to cost me $150 a month.
Yeah, I see your point there. I mean, you read more Marvel and DC, and you're suddenly buying a ton more DC.
Yeah. No.
Who's on Destro?
Kyle Higgins and Joe Bennett and Art Thibert. So, Art Thibert, I know, is a solid inker. He does well. I'm not entirely certain about Joe Bennett. Kyle Higgins, just like 3 pages ago, again with the doubling up,
Yeah.
I have no idea if he's any good or not. Suicide Squad.
Yes!
What? You're happy about this?
I love the Suicide Squad.
You want the Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn, Deadshot, and King Shark?
Well, Deadshot's always in it.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. Harley Quinn
Is revamped to look like the world's worst clown-based dominatrix.
not uncreepy. And what the hell is a King...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fucking creepy.
Doesn't matter, it's Suicide Squad.
King Shark.
King Shark.
I don't know who that is. Is that a real fucking character?
You know what? I can honestly say I don't know who that is.
Which is staggeringly unusual.
But it's still Suicide Squad.
But you know what? We are so close to being done. Adam Glass, Marco Rudy. The cover looks great, but I couldn't care. You want it? We'll get the first couple for you, okay?
Yay!
Fine. OMAC.
Oh, fuck no.
Yes. OMAC #1.
One-man Army Corps.
Written by Dan DiDio and Keith Giffen. Art and cover by Keith Giffen and Scott Koblish.
Shit, I love Keith Giffen.
With an incredibly detailed and throwbackish Jack Kirby style
Damn it.
pastiche cover.
I love Keith Giffen and I loathe OMAC.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
So crazy.
That's how
Kevin
they.
Maguire.
That's how they're gonna suck us in.
That's like having Kevin Maguire write a friggin' Commandi book or draw.
Oh, that would be horrible. That would be just.
Yes, no.
That would be just fucking mean.
Why are you doing this to me?
Now, I don't know Mike Costa or Ken Lashley, but you know, I think a new Blackhawks book might be fun. So I'll give Blackhawks a go. Men of War.
Oh wait, that's the new Sergeant Rock book.
On the ground in the front lines, a young, headstrong soldier, Joe Rock, in command of Easy Company. Looks very, very modern. Because they could not have any history in here. Because we're gearing it toward 14 to 18-year-olds. But it is fucking Sergeant Rock.
And Easy Company.
And it is a war book. So I'm down for the first arc at least. And you know what? Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, I know those two. And I like what they've done on a lot of things. So I'm going to bite the bullet, so to speak. And I'm going to get me some All-Star Western.
Yes! Oh, this is the best day ever. Oh, I'd almost be willing to read Hawkman for the way this day is going.
I'm kind of concerned that they're treating Gotham as the Old West.
Suck butt.
It's kind of weird, seeing as how it's been totally established for 70 years, and even in what little we know about the geography of, which is exactly of the fraction of diddly / squat of the new geography of the DCnU, it's always been East Coast, so I don't know how they're
Didn't you
gonna.
have a theory that it was based on New Haven at one point?
It's totally New Haven. It's got the cliffs, it's got the harbor, it's It's got the waterfront. It's got, and this was in something I read in like '96. It was an official book. It was in canon. It said situated roughly between its larger neighbor New York to the south and Boston to the north. So the only thing it could be really is New Haven or Hartford.
Well, Hartford is much more Gotham-like. Those of you who aren't from Connecticut probably having a hard time in this conversation, but New Haven is a city, and Hartford is a scuzz hole from hell.
But New Haven has Yale. And I can see Bruce Wayne hanging from a gargoyle at fucking Yale. You know, Yale could fit in for Gotham U really, really easily. Don't you think?
Yep.
Teen Titans can go suck a duck. Again, Scott Lobdell. Brett Booth. I don't know who Brett Booth is. Tim Drake, right, as Red Robin, who seems to be the only one here with a reasonable costume. Tim Drake, where the fuck are they? Kid Flash, which is probably Impulse. They don't even list it here. That's disgusting.
Impulse had already been Kid Flash before this.
Connor Kent, who is trying to be, some kind of horrifyingly fail badass.
Punk Superboy.
What is this shit with the fucking penciled in paper and duct tape to his back? It's stupid. I'm sorry. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking that's fucking stupid. Unlimited technology from across the fucking universe. He pencils in a piece of paper and tapes it to his back. Fuck you. Fuck you. Wonder Girl, who is apparently now a smart-ass thief.
Awesome.
It's such a terrible idea. And a couple of other losers. There's a Raven analog in there somewhere. You can't... It's hard to trust it when they don't just put out the entire list there. So, Red Robin teaming up with Wonder Girl, calling Speedster, calling himself Kid Flash, against a living, breathing weapon. They don't even mention who the others are.
Sweet.
How much faith do they have? They
Garth
didn't
and
mention
Raven,
it.
I think we can safely assume.
Oh, Garth. Yeah. Okay. So Static Shock. Scott McDaniel and John Rosen. I don't know who those guys are. What? Dwayne McDuffie thought this up. Rest his soul.
Yeah. Static was a great book. What was it? Milestone?
Yes.
Static was a lot of fun. The original book.
I never did catch it because that was when I was in the Army and poor.
I read a few of the Milestone books, and Static was pretty much the highlight of them.
All right, I'll trust you with that. I tried Liefeld's Hawk and Dove in the late 80s, and I wasn't staggered by it, so I'm not going to be bothering with it this time.
Is it really Liefeld again?
It's written by Sterling Gates, art and cover by Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, pass and pass again.
Bye-bye. Let's go back to Jaime. Jaime Reyes.
Is he getting his own book?
Yeah, Jaime Reyes. It's all him now.
Intriguing.
Yep. They're trying again. Tony Bedard's writing it this time. I don't know who Guara is or Rui Jose.
Now, did he have his own book before this?
Yeah, they did. They gave him his own book. It made like 13 issues, if I remember, which I probably don't, but whatever. Again, I gotta draw lines. Legion of Superheroes. I've never read it. I've never bothered with it. I ain't gonna start now.
I tried to get you to read it, and you yell at me.
Yeah.
But what if Matter Eating Land does something important?
I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to answer that because that's never happened. What if Matter Eater Lad does something important? No, I like the other one with the space puking Punisher things. And Legion Lost with Fabian Nicieza. Now, Fabian is a decent writer as far as I've encountered. But
I
again,
didn't really love his stuff back in the X-Men, but that was
no,
really
yeah, that was a while ago, and that was X-Men. Yeah. So, but it's still Legion, so I still can't do it. And that is the entire list, and it's going to cost me a lot of money.
Much more than you expected, unfortunately for you.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's a couple I'm only getting to satisfy your bizarre need to see things. So we got maybe
all you really do
12 out of...
All-Star Western you're getting, at least in part for me, but you're also intrigued by it.
Oh, sure.
Same with Men of War, which is
Yes.
a horrible title. So both those you might have done without me.
Right. So 1, 2,
Red Hood and the Outsiders, you're only
3,
buying the first one to shut me up.
4, 5, 6, 7.
What was the size?
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So not quite half of them.
18, and then 2 to 3 other, like DC Presents and Aquaman,
Yeah.
you're going to take a look at and decide in the moment.
Right. But there's definitely a bunch we'll start right off with.
And at least, I mean, quite a few of them have a short window to impress you.
Right. Very short.
Like, obviously, Batman, Detective, all those will get a much longer run.
Right.
But
that is a very long episode. So we're going to save the pile for next time.
alrighty.
It was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
And now it is over.
It's done. Remember, this is 82,
Not
83. Have a good night, kids.
Bless you, fuckers!
I just said up yours, baby.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. You can find us on iTunes, Podcast Alley, Facebook, Comic Space, our own site, www.themeangeek.com. Subscribe to us through RSS, and most importantly, find us as a proud member on the Comics Podcast Network. Contact us directly through email at themeanergeek@gmail.com.